to improve your conversion rate? It just comes back to knowing your numbers. And if you're able to increase your conversion rate, you're going to increase that cha-ching. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 10 tips to be able to increase your conversion rate for your webinars. Number one, you are teaching too much. So you want to make sure that you're teaching people what is possible and not much of the how-to, because if there's so much of the how-to, you're going to overwhelm people and give them so much that they actually have so much to deal with after attending your masterclass or webinar that they're not actually ready to buy. So they feel to themselves they need to go off and do the work before they can actually start seeing results. Next, you wait until the end to sell. Do not make this mistake. You want to let people know that there is something coming down the pipeline. So say by the 20-minute mark, you should have mentioned your program, your membership, whatever it is that you're going to actually be talking about. You can just drop it in very casually and say, I'll let you know more about that at the end. Next, you want to watch out for trends. So you want to see where people are dropping off, because if people drop off, they've not heard the sales message and they are probably not going to come back. So you want to look out for trends and dips where you see people steady, and then they drop off. So then you want to look at what is causing the drop off point, make amendments to your presentation, and then try it again. Number 4, you want to make sure that your webinar is not too long. And what I mean by this is people are busy. People have a lot of 60 minutes. They're not going to stay around for 90 minutes to 2 hours if they don't have to. So I would suggest that you have your teachings kind of roll around between the 40-50 minute mark, and then by 50 minutes you are answering people's questions, getting to see why are they on the fence, and helping them make the decision towards a purchase or not purchase, depending on what is right for them. People will always stay later. There are going to be your tribe and the people who are just have the time or just really want to stay around, but most people are busy and they have a lot of 60 minutes. Do not go over that. Make sure you have everything that people need to know to make an informed decision by the 60-minute mark. Next, you want to make sure you teach your webinar live until it's optimized and you know your webinar is performing really well. So most people will rush and switch to evergreen when there's so much more money left on the table. So if you're not killing it on all fronts when it's live, what's going to happen when it goes evergreen? You're going to hear the crickets, you're not going to see the results, and make the wrong decisions based on the data. So again, do your webinar multiple times until you have it down to a fine art, and then go with your evergreen. Next, you want to talk about the objections. So people's objections could be time, could be money. Why are you the right person to help them? So if you are ignoring the facts that you're not addressing the cost, so regardless if it's $197 or it's $1997 or more, if you're not talking about the cost and why it is actually worth that cost, or how you're addressing a specific issue, they will look for somebody who is. So make sure you are asking people what is stopping you, what's holding you back, why aren't you buying the program, why are you on the fence, and how can I get you off it? Not everybody is right for the program, but if you don't answer people's questions, you're not going to make the sales. Next, what is the risk? So if somebody does not purchase your product or your solution, what is the risk for staying where they are? But what is their biggest struggles? So you don't want to wait until you get on a webinar to actually find out what their biggest struggles are. So when somebody is signing up, ask them the question, why are they turning up? You can use the messenger bots to be able to ask people in advance, what is your biggest struggle? But you need to make sure you're not waiting for the webinar to find out the answer to this question, because if you do, that person may not hang around for the question and answer and their issue may not be addressed. Know people's struggles, know it inside out, and keep adding to the list, because just because you know the initial pain points into why somebody's turning up, if you don't know what their biggest struggle is at this moment in time, you won't be able to address it and you're going to leave money on the table because of it. One of the biggest overlooked parts of actually hosting a webinar is sending out your post-webinar survey. So you want to make sure why didn't somebody buy, what they thought of the webinar, what should have been included, is there anything that was really good. Just ask for open feedback, keep it short and simple. Even one question asking somebody why they didn't buy is enough to help you make your next webinar better. And last but not least, if you are doing webinars and you're not seeing the standard conversion rate, or you're not seeing any improvements in your conversion rate, you really need to work on crafting your sales pitch. So whether this is just practicing, trying new things, or even seeking the help of an expert, having somebody else help you and work through this if it's that actually their job, this is what they do day in, day out, is help people sell, it's so worth the time and effort and money to invest in someone helping you perfect your sales pitch. So if you can increase your sales rate and your conversion rate, the amount of difference between the last webinar to this webinar based on 1 or 2% or even 0.5% can make a huge difference in the amount of revenue that you generate. So that's it. They are your 10 tips on how to increase your webinar conversion rate. If you would like to get more tips like this on how you can make data-driven decisions to grow your business faster, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.